Hi y'all, Steph here from SouthernSkyTNgardenDIY, and look at me, I actually have makeup on. After I film this video, I'm going out to run a few errands in my It's Fall Y'all shirt, and yes, it is here in Tennessee, but it's not been totally cool. It's like 80 degrees again today. So anyway, but I wanted to share a quick video today and show you some of our interesting sweet potato harvest. So out here in the main garden bed, I have several fabric pots that I planted sweet potatoes in. And the ones that are in the fabric pots, interestingly enough, they were the ones where we just took some smaller sweet potatoes from our crop last year and just put them down here in the pots. So these sweet potatoes right here, and there's like 20 of them, and they're all like crazy shapes. This was like the largest one, the amoeba here, the creature, was again just planted in this pot, came from this fabric pot, and was just planted from smaller sweet potatoes that we didn't end up eating. And like I said, I did that in a couple different fabric pots in the garden. So delicious harvest, and we're just gonna pop those babies in the oven and, you know, butter them up and salt them up and enjoy them just as they are. And I'll just share with you the other areas in which there's some sweet potato plants going. Hopefully we'll have as good a harvest in those pots as we did this one. So right down in here, this one right in here, there should be several good sweet potatoes down in there. And again, this was just started from sweet potatoes that we had and just threw in the ground. And every once in a while I find like a red potato, you know, a mix, because in some of them I just threw like multiple potatoes down, but every one of them was started from like 5 or 6 that I put in there. And then where do I have my other one here? Oh yes, this. And this was just vining up on here. Oops, let me zoom out a little bit. This was just vining up and has the most beautiful purple flowers when they open. And sweet potatoes, oh, there's a little bumblebee right on that one, doing his magic. Little fuzzy baby. But anyway, yes, those beautiful purple flowers open up and they're almost like an upside down, like bell shape. And so they kind of, you know, tulip out at the top. Oh, there he goes. But this one is kind of on its last legs here. But anyway, they're just beautiful flowers when they bloom. I don't want to disturb the little bumblebee from doing their thing, because they took a while to come in this year, but then they did come in like gangbusters, and we would get so many butterflies and bumblebees once we had all the marigolds going. That's going to be a mainstay in the garden next year for sure. All those beautiful marigolds going brought in so many pollinators. But anyway, there's another pot going down here. Oh, it's a big spider web in there. But anyway, there's another pot going here that's in the black fabric pots that also has sweet potato in it. And it also had an eggplant plant in there that never really seemed to produce much. It wasn't a good spot. It just crowded out. But I left it in there. It was already too much to transplant it. And anyway, I just left it. But anyway, that thing is going and vining all the way up around. And they'll say to cut off the vining or trim it back, because then it's just taking energy from the plant itself. But this one just has the most beautiful flowers. When they bloom in the morning, I just couldn't bear to trim it. And I was like, I thought it maybe go all the way around the arch there, but it never really has. So anyway, come over here. And again, this pot was just started from potatoes that I stuck in there. And then this one right here, now this is the one that we would do every year for the last couple of years we had a garden. And I actually buy the sweet potato slips from Lowe's. And you get, I think, 6 of them. Is it 6 or 9? Oh, I forget. I think it's 6 of them for about $4. Really cheap to just start them. And so we've already had a couple from here that we picked that I gave to family. And you can see one right there. And I'm going to bury it again until we're ready to pick it. And there's another one popping through right here. I just don't want to pick them yet because we've got so much going. But they'll survive down in there for a while. You've got your own built-in storage unit from nature, just preserving them down there. Just as long as you kind of keep them covered. There's another one exposing itself. And this will produce, this method produces a lot of sweet potatoes. So we're not even ready to harvest those yet. And again, we give them to family. And then also last year, we used them at Thanksgiving, roasted them in, and they were delicious. We didn't have to buy sweet potatoes. We just had them from the garden and brought them over. And then just another area here, these are not sweet potatoes growing, but they are just regular potatoes that are red potatoes I just stuck in the ground, and they just keep popping up. So there's a potato down in there and the plants just keep popping up. I thought it was all done, and then several potato plants started sprouting up again, because there was a whole row. I think if you remember my earlier summer videos, if you've been following along, which I hope someone out there, I hope people out there are following, because this has been fun and I've enjoyed documenting it all. But anyway, yes, so several potato plants still going, even when I thought I was done. And surprise of surprise, still have the okra going, and I got to harvest these. They say if they get too big, they're not any good, but there's some okra down in there, and that was kind of a fun thing to plant, and didn't think they would even happen. In fact, remember I said I pulled out one plant on the other side of the house because I thought it was a weed, but they do produce a really pretty plant. So those are definitely going to be planted again next year, and I'm going to harvest these and see what I can do with them. I think there's 3 other okras growing on the other plant, but I'm surprised they're going into the fall here. And I usually track the historic weather, so I've got to go back and do that for for most of October, I think, or this last half of October. I've got to go back and record my weather for last year, but I've been tracking that all the time, and that way I can always compare. But I think it's a lot warmer this time of year than it was last year, because again, October, like my tomatoes were done, and I'm still letting them go. And you can see I've got my purple Cherokees here, and they are still coming about. They are looking good, looking good. So I am letting them go until we have a freeze. And I'm hopefully, like I said, when it was Cash's birthday on October 21st this month, we were supposed to have a first frost, and that did not happen. So curious as to when we'll have one. Probably have to Google or look up on Almanac again, which I refer to all the time, as to when we'll have a frost. But in the meantime, things are happening, and I'm just letting it happen. Still peppers. Oh my gosh, look at that. That is one black jalapeno. Man, that sucker's gonna be hot. Woo! Fire! And all the habaneros. I'll plant less of those next year, but they are definitely good, prolific growers out here. And they're just so dang hot, but they're delicious. But I'm going to cut a bunch of them and freeze them, and we don't need to buy pepper powder anymore. I'm going to dehydrate some, and then we freeze them also and just chop them up real finely and use them in recipes. So, okay, y'all. So I just wanted to check in with you all and show you the sweet potato progress that was happening. And I will keep you posted as I harvest more of them. But this was a pretty good harvest from just putting down a sweet potato, or a couple sweet potatoes, in a fabric pot. I'm leaning over here, in a fabric pot, and just letting it do its thing. Get them out of here. Bring them back in the house. And I will see you all on the next video. Enjoy your day, y'all.